For maximum picture quality, it may be necessary to adjust the tracking control on your VCR.
This holiday season, Santa's off to a bumpy start.
What's your name?
And it'll take one little boy
You gotta remember who you are.
to show the world who he really is.
The police finally discovered your true identity.
Yeah?
If he isn't Santa, then nobody is.
From the wonderful world of Disney,
Who are you? Elf?
Leslie Nielsen in the new holiday classic you won't forget.
Do we know who I am?
Duh.
Santa Who, Sunday 7, 6 Central on ABC.
The waiting, the anxiety, the worry. The experts at AMCO know you're expecting the worst when it comes to your transmission. However, there is one thing that a lot of people get at AMCO that they don't expect. Good news. The good news is that a quick and easy external diagnostic check at AMCO can catch big and expensive problems before they happen. Now that is good news, isn't it? Call 1-800-GO-AMCO, AA-MCO.
You might think all alarm clock radios are the same, but when the power goes out, only one alarm clock radio is smart enough to reset itself to the exact right time every time. The Smart Set from Emerson Research. Now you'll never have to set your alarm clock again, because the Smart Set will always automatically set itself to the correct time, day, date, month, and alarm settings, no matter how long the power has been out. The Smart Set has all the features you want, including a built-in AM/FM radio and his and her alarm settings that can each be set from Monday through Friday, weekends only, or one setting for every day of the week. And the Smart Set is the only alarm clock radio that will automatically set itself right out of the box, so you know it's always the right time. It even resets itself for daylight savings time and leap year.
That's smart.
All alarm clock radios are not created equal. With the Smart Set from Emerson, you'll never have to set your alarm clock again. Here's how to order yours now. To order your Smart Set, just call this toll-free number. Order a Smart Set for every room in your house and you'll never have to set a clock again. Smart Set comes with a 30-day guarantee. Don't wait. Call and order the Smart Set now.
AccuWeather tracks a snowstorm. The hometown forecast at 11.
From ABC News, around the world and into your home. This is 2020 with Barbara Walters and John Stossel's column, Give Me a Break.
Tonight, if you own an SUV or know someone who does, you must watch this report. What you don't know about the people and the weight it can't safely carry could put you and your family on the road to danger. Arnold Diaz takes you for a topsy-turvy ride. Before you overload your SUV, you'd better weigh the risks. He was left home alone and became the most famous child star in the world. But where has Macaulay Culkin been?
I was hoping to disappear off the face of the earth.
He had it all, but he wanted out, a prisoner of celebrity. Bullied, he says, by a father obsessed with success.
Your father was described as the father from hell.
For the first time, Macaulay talks about the family battles, the scandalous headlines, and his astonishing teenage marriage.
People said 17.
Everyone's talking about Macaulay Culkin again, the comeback kid. Then, what Americans wanted was a president-elect. What they got was a tie. In sports, the answer is extra innings or sudden death. But counting and recounting, isn't there a better way to win the White House?
Whoever can break a broomstick with their head first wins.
Lynn Shure with fresh insights on an election where there's still no winner. Almost doesn't count.
Plus, what's wrong with Red Delicious apples? Nothing that millions of your tax dollars can't try to fix.
Why should we subsidize you? Do we subsidize the dry cleaner when they lose money, or the restaurant?
Growers make a mistake and we have to pay? I'm John Stossel, and I say, give me a break.
Those stories, plus the latest election developments tonight, November 17th, 2000.
Fundamentals is brought to you by Altamira, focused on making you money. A front-end loaded mutual fund is one in which you pay the commission up front. For instance, if you put $10,000 into a fund with a 4% front-end load, you'll pay a $400 commission when you invest. You can pay up to a 6% load or a commission on a front-end loaded fund, but like a mortgage, it's best to try to negotiate this fee with whomever is selling you the fund. Ask your personal financial advisor or your mutual fund rep.
Looking for the ultimate sport utility? Consider the legendary Jeep Grand Cherokee Laredo. After all, why pay for an imitation when you can afford the original? Just $389 a month with over 1,300 in no-charge options. Or choose the Jeep Cherokee Sport. Get another original with over $1,800 in no-charge options for just $27,998. Jeep, there's only one. Now with 5-star protection available on all 2001 Jeep models. Only at your neighborhood Chrysler Dodge Jeep retailer.
The auditions are over, so let the show begin at Leon's best ever Ho Ho Hold the Payments event, featuring our 90-day lowest price guarantee on Canada's largest selection of home furnishings. Plus, you pay no money down, no interest, and you can Ho Ho Hold the payments till 2002. You'll save on beautiful furniture like this gorgeous sofa for just $679, and you'll love the ceramic cooktop on this Frigidaire range for only $799. Plus, delivery is guaranteed in time for Christmas. Hurry into Leon's today. Merry Christmas, Canada.
Good morning, Mitzi. You be good. Mitzi, bad dog.
Better beans, better coffee. Nabob.
I used to dream about all the great things I'd buy if I had millions of dollars. And then I won Lotto 649 and realized the most precious thing I can buy is time.
Lotto 649, just imagine.
This is the sound of clean. The new battery-powered Colgate ActiBrush is clinically proven to clean teeth better than an ordinary toothbrush. Sounds good, doesn't it? The affordable new Colgate ActiBrush. The power to clean better.
Okay, this is it. Come to Daddy, sweetheart. Yes, come to Daddy. Good. Mama?
Now that Fleecy comes in a concentrated Ultra formula, just a little makes everything feel soft as a mother's touch. New Ultra Fleecy.
My favorite thing about Christmas is opening of the presents. A lot of times Christmas shopping can be so tough, you just, I don't even want to go there. The children are always changing their minds.
They are wonderful children, but sometimes...
And now, 2 weeks before Christmas, my husband and I, we go into Walmart. He has his cart, I have my cart, get it all done in one shot. And you just think, wow, that was well worth it, just seeing the looks on their faces.
Monday on Global News at 5:30. Not every nanny is Mary Poppins. Your children are your pride and joy, and you won't leave them in the hands of just anyone.
It makes a lot of sense to have somebody who knows exactly what my kids need and how our house works.
But how do you find the perfect nanny? And how will you know if you picked the right one? Global's Christine Crosby will take you through the process and highlight the do's and don'ts. Monday at 5:30. Global News. Coverage you can count on. Maria Del Mar, Joel Keller, and Jeremy Ratchford. Blue Murder. Global's got it this January.
From Times Square in New York, Barbara Walters.
Good evening and welcome to 2020. It seems like one step forward and two steps back in the battle for the White House. And we'll have more on that later, but right now, we're going to bring you a report that could affect you no matter who becomes the next president. It's about SUVs, sports utility vehicles. The chances are that you own one or you know someone who does, because SUVs are wildly popular now. And some drivers like them, especially during the holidays, because they can cram the whole family and all the belongings inside for the trip to Grandma's house. But how much weight can your SUV handle safely? That is a very important question. And Arnold Diaz has an urgent and surprising warning you must watch before you load up your SUV.
Here at the Consumer Reports test track, this Ford Explorer had no problem handling the curves with just testing director David Champion inside. But when they fully loaded it with 3 passengers plus luggage, it made a big difference, he said.
You can feel the body sway from side to side, also as we go into the corners, which is a little unnerving.
The problem, he says, is that despite their rugged image, many sport utility vehicles are not built to safely handle as much weight as you might think.
It's surprising how easy it is to overload them.
In fact, Consumer Reports found the typical VW Beetle is engineered to carry more weight than many popular SUVs. It's especially surprising because SUVs have large cargo areas. The TV commercials have shown them handling large loads, and many people assume it's safe to put lots of stuff into their SUVs. It's a big reason they buy them.
I fill this thing right up to the top. I use every inch in it.
I've had it just filled to the brim.
But those people may be unknowingly putting themselves at risk. So you're about to show us how easy it is to overload the Explorer.
Yeah, we have a group of people here.
Consumer Reports put 5 men into the Ford Explorer and weighed it on a special scale. The total exceeded the vehicle's maximum allowable weight.
So it's over 100 pounds overloaded with just the people in.
No cargo at all?
No cargo.
Then they tried it with 2 couples, plus what they said were 4 average-sized suitcases. The total weight, 10 pounds over the limit. Champion says it's astonishing this SUV isn't engineered to hold more weight.
It's a 5-seater vehicle. It should be able to carry 5 people and luggage. If you give them the space, give them the capability to carry that weight that you might put in that space.
The obvious concern is safety. Because SUVs sit higher off the ground than cars, they're already less stable. Excess weight only makes it worse.
With an SUV, you're loading it always higher, and it's always raising that center of gravity, which makes it more prone to rollover.
And government tests confirm that fully loading an SUV increases the risk of a deadly rollover, especially during an emergency maneuver. And it makes the steering less responsive, says Champion.
If something came out in front of you, it would be a lot more difficult to make a quick maneuver.
Overloading, he says, also stresses the brakes and can lead to a tire blowout. In fact, Firestone officials cite overloading as one reason their tires have come apart on Explorers, a claim Ford has disputed. But it's not just the Explorer where cargo weight is an issue, says Champion. What SUVs are you most concerned about?
An SUV that doesn't carry more than maybe 1,000 pounds.
As you can see from this partial list of Consumer Reports calculations, many SUVs are designed to carry more than 1,100 pounds in combined passenger and cargo weight. But Champion's concerned about the load capacity of a number of others, which, depending on the options on the vehicle, are just above 1,000. And at least a dozen SUVs with standard equipment have even lower cargo limits. With lower capacities like these, it's no surprise that people sometimes unknowingly overload their SUVs.
Here we got 5 acapella singers, a lot of clothing, and a few Frisbees.
At a Connecticut rest stop, we weighed a number of SUVs. This Isuzu Rodeo, with 5 college kids and their luggage, was 50 pounds over the maximum cargo weight.
I expected it to be able to hold a lot more.
This Nissan Pathfinder with 5 people plus luggage was also overloaded by 75 pounds. This Suzuki Sidekick with 2 people, 2 dogs, luggage, and a roof pod was 100 pounds overweight.
We believe there should be a sticker on the car somewhere in a prominent place showing the load capacity in something that's easy for them to understand.
Mercedes has such a sticker on the tailgate latch, and some other SUVs list the load capacity in the manual or on the vehicle itself. But the vast majority of owner's manuals, while warning you not to overload your SUV and suggesting you spread the weight around, don't tell you the maximum weight you can carry. They leave it up to you to figure it out.
What is this? Weigh your vehicle as you would customarily operate the vehicle without cargo. Where do you weigh your vehicle?
Weigh it at a shipping company or inspection station, says the Ford Explorer manual. Nissan suggests weighing the Pathfinder at a gravel quarry, grain elevator, or scrap metal recycling facility. Not very practical advice, says Consumer Reports, which also warns that putting cargo on the roof of an SUV is always a bad idea.
That weight will make the car more liable to tip over in an emergency situation.
But whether it's putting weight on the roof or too much weight inside the vehicle, either can increase your risk of an accident. And many SUV owners remain unaware of how little it may take to compromise their vehicle's safety, pushing them into the danger zone.
Arnold, that is scary. What did the automakers say?
Well, we called Ford and we asked them why none of their SUVs list the amount of weight that they can safely carry. After our call, Ford announced that it was making a change. Starting next year, it will put that information on the door jamb of its SUVs. Kia, Toyota say they're going to put it in their owner's manuals, and a number of other manufacturers say they're considering doing the same thing. Still, the manufacturers say the amount of weight most SUV owners put inside their vehicle and even on the roof isn't a problem.
It's not a problem, but Ford did make a change.
They did make the change. At least people won't be left in the dark.
Well, it's gratifying to know that we can have some influence, however small, on safety.
It sure
Thank
is.
you, Arnold.
Okay.
And if you want to know how much weight your SUV is designed to hold, you just log on to abcnews.com. When we come back, the Comeback Kid.
The face hasn't changed, but Macaulay Culkin is all grown up and talking for the first time about his stolen childhood. And the father, he says, drove him too hard and then walked out.
No note, no goodbye, no explanation.
Go to Canada's leading source for health information on the internet. Go to medbroadcast.com.
Closed captioning of this program is brought to you by the Keg Steakhouse and Bar.
There's savings up to 50% on the Brick's fabulous selection of Palliser leather furniture. And now through this weekend, you don't pay until 2002 with no payments and no interest.
Coming home to the Brick. They can't run. They can't hide from the Dodge Truck Challenge. Deals like the Dodge Ram Quad Cab with 5.2-liter V8 engine for only $379 a month. Or choose the Dodge Dakota Club Cab Sport with V6 engine for just $279 a month. Ask your retailer about no-charge options and the new 5-star protection, now available on all 2001 Dodge trucks, only at your neighborhood Chrysler Dodge Jeep retailer.
Sure, it gets lonely. We got the internet through cable, then found that we were sharing our cable line with our neighbors. And more people using it, the slower it got. So I bought the neighborhood. It's not perfect, but that's okay.
If only they got Bell Simpatico High Speed Edition. It's always fast, never shared.
Sweetie!
Wizard candles are designed to remove odors in the air for a light, clean fragrance. Wizard scented candles, fragrances that change your world.
I hate leftovers.
Yuck. Introducing No More Leftovers with new Double Action Electrosol. Blue pre-soakers and white scrubbers get those dirty dishes sparkling clean. Hey, no more leftovers. Double Action Electrosol. No more leftovers.
Come on, let's go.
Sweetie, I'm sorry. I can't stand the line. We're going to miss our flight. Well, I wish you could go too. Yes, I know how much you love Walt Disney World, but we can't take you with us this time. Well, for one thing, I don't think your wife and children would appreciate it.
Okay.
If you think a Walt Disney World vacation isn't the same without the kids, you're absolutely right. Call 1-407-WDisney and make the dream come true.
Hi. Are you free this weekend? You're all set.
Are you free this weekend?
Oh.
Thank you.
Rent any 2 weekends with discount and the third weekend's free. We'll even pick you up and drop you off for free.
Are you free this weekend?
At discount, you could be.
Serta has chosen the Brick to clear out millions of dollars of Serta mattress sets. This major mattress event happens only once every 4 years as Serta changes over their entire line. All Serta Perfect Sleepers are on sale.
Coming home to the Brick.
When it's happening close to home, trust Global News at 5:30. Beverly Thompson and the Global News team bring you Toronto's first look at the day's news. Susan Hay has your SkyTracker weather forecast. We've got the latest showbiz news, along with health issues that make a difference.
New tonight at 6 o'clock.
And at 6 o'clock, the day's top stories are updated with late-breaking live coverage. Global's got Toronto's only newscast at 5:30 and 6. Global News, coverage you can count on.
"2020 continues with The Comeback Kid." Once again, Barbara Walters.
He was a child star as famous around the world as Shirley Temple. We're talking about Macaulay Culkin. At age 10, he shot straight to the top, making movie after movie, accumulating an immense fortune, until suddenly, at 14, he dropped out of sight. Why? Where has he been for the past 6 years? Tonight, for the first time, Macaulay Culkin's untold story, his struggles with fame and a domineering father, a surprising marriage at 17, he tells it all, and the price he has paid for success.
Listen to hear sleigh bells in the snow, the snow.
We all remember this little boy. Home Alone was the most successful comedy in history, and Macaulay Culkin became the most famous child in the world.
You guys give up, or you're thirsty for more?
From 1990 to 1994, he was one of Hollywood's hottest properties, starring in movie after movie, including Home Alone 2,
Yes!
My Girl, and Richie Rich, where he played America's wealthiest kid.
Hi!
Not much of a stretch for him at that point. He was the highest paid child actor ever, reportedly making $8 million per film at his peak. And then at age 14, he seemed to have dropped off the face of the earth. Why did he abandon his career? What happened to Macaulay Culkin? You stopped working as an actor 6 years ago.
Yeah.
What have you been doing for 6 years?
Well, I decided to go to school. It was starting out high school. So I decided to tell my mother, tell my representatives, tell everybody that I don't want to do this anymore. I want to go to school. I want to make friends. I want to do my thing. So don't even bring up movies. Don't bring up acting. Don't bring up anything, because that's not who I am and that's not what I want to be. I told them to call it retirement, call it whatever they wanted. I just said I would never wanted to do it again, and so don't even bring it up.
But now, at the age of 20, he is doing it again, acting for the first time in 6 years. He recently opened in a play in London, Madame Melville, for which he's getting mostly glowing reviews.
You rhyme as the heart pumps, as you breathe.
He plays a 15-year-old who was taught about love and life from an older woman.
What do they say?
They love each other. They want to be together.
I recently caught up with him in London, where he was finally ready to talk about his difficult childhood and what he was doing during those long lost years. A lot of people, I think, feel because you were a child star that you have spent the last 6 years battling drugs and alcohol and spending all your money. You know, the cliche story.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I remember I got a call from my lawyer, Ken Weiner, one day, and he called me up and he said, oh, hey, Mac, you there? And I'm like, yeah, that's me. And he goes, oh, so you're still alive? And I go, yeah, I'm still alive. Why? He's like, well, CNN just called me and they got an unconfirmed report of you dying of a drug overdose. And I go, oh, well, thank you very much. No, I'm still around. I always kind of felt that it was almost expected of me in a way. And I think that's kind of why I stayed away from it.
You never did drugs?
Experiment, but nothing serious.
Could you keep the money you made?
Yes, I did.
You did?
Actually, both my parents are smart enough to put a very, like most of it, about 90% of my money, into a guarded account that even I couldn't touch until I turned 18. And so, so when I turned 18, I kind of found out how much was built up in there, because they never told me how much I made or how much I had built up.
You don't have to work for the money then.
Oh, no, it was never about that. I mean, I knew, you know, when I was trying to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my life, that I could sit around and watch TV all day, and my kids would still go to college, and I'd still be able to live comfortably. But it wasn't about that.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Fine.
Some children, it seems, are born with the desire to perform. I mean, you see them at 3 years old, you know, doing a little number. Were you the kind of kid that begged your parents to let you perform?
No, I wasn't like one of those types. I mean, of course, I was always trying to get as much attention as I could possibly get. It was fun. It was fun. But I was only 6. I mean, what better do you know?
Instead of presents this year, I just want my family back.
At 10, your whole life changed because you made Home Alone this enormous success.
I remember I was just a normal kid in the neighborhood, and it came out, and within like a week or two, all those kids in the neighborhood that I used to hang out with were peering in my window and trying to catch a glimpse of me and stuff like that, and it just all hit very fast. I tried to fight it. For a long, long time, and I've tried locking myself, not leaving, you know, my apartment, and, you know, but that's not healthy.
You stayed in your room and watched television?
Oh, yeah, I did that a lot. I did that, like, good for a couple of years. I did that.
Really?
Yeah, and I was perfectly content doing it.
Although in the Home Alone films he had a loving, if occasionally absent family, in real life he says his father was a constant and controlling presence. Culkin was the third of 7 children. His mother stayed home with his brothers and sisters, while his father traveled with him from movie set to movie set. He managed his son's career and is said to have alienated most of Hollywood with his rages and excessive demands. Tell me about your mother. Tell me about your father.
I mean, I've always really, really loved my mother so much. She's really a wonderful woman. I don't know, my father was very good at breaking people's spirits and holding them down. And he did that to all of us, including my mother.
Your father was described as the father from hell.
Oh, yes, yes, I remember that. I remember him sitting on the phone screaming his head off at God knows who. And I mean, that was a daily thing. And it was just the way my father was, so I just kind of accepted it. I mean, you have to remember that I was only 9, 10, 11, 12. I had no control over it.
What was he like with you?
He was the same way on the phone with these people in Los Angeles as he was with me and the rest of my family. It's very weird, because I know whatever I say about him, he's going to try to contradict everything I say. But, you know, yes, he was very hard on me. And he would deny me certain things in my life that I enjoyed. Like if he felt I wasn't trying hard enough or something like that, he wouldn't let me play basketball, even though I liked doing it. My brother and me slept on the couch. We didn't even have our own bedroom. I mean, I was making, forget about how much money I was making, but I was sleeping on the couch. And
why?
I think it was just a way of him wanting to break my spirit. He wanted me to know, and my brother to know, that he was in charge, and that if he didn't want us to sleep on a bed, we weren't going to sleep on a bed.
I don't want to be maudlin, but did he ever hug you? Did he ever say, I love you?
Well, yeah, but I don't think it was, he never really did it unless it was for show.
If one really wants to complain about him as an outsider, it might be that he made you do film after film after film.
I mean, I had no say. I've done 14 films, and I've never read one of the scripts, not one of them. And I had a basic idea of what it was about, but I wouldn't actually know what it was until I'd actually go to the premiere and I'd see it. We'd study the lines the night before.
You and your
father. And say, yeah.
Yeah.
We'd study the lines, go out there, and then just do it. And come back, do the lines that night, come back in the morning. It was just, that was the cycle.
There was no fun. It was just study, spit it out.
Basically. I didn't want to do it anymore.
Roll sound.
I knew at least I wanted to have a break.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted, because it was one after the other. I never did a full year of school, never really had a full summer vacation, stuff like that. So I remember I went up to my father and I asked him, I said, you know, I think I need some time off. I'm really, really exhausted. And he said, yeah, sure, no problem. And the next thing I knew, I was on the next set, you know, doing the next thing. And I mean, especially after that, I really turned myself off.
Also, your career was going down because your father put you in so many different kinds of movies that it was almost as if by the, well, you know, you did Richie Rich and you did the Nutcracker.
And then Getting Even with Dad and all those things. I was actually very happy that they were not being as successful. I was hoping, literally, I was hoping to disappear off the face of the earth.
How are you going to disappear?
I don't know, just I figured that people would forget about me. And if I just locked myself in a room for long enough and, you know, grew up, I figured people would just forget about that kid.
He had few friends at the time, but did feel a kinship with one famous pal, Michael Jackson.
And after, like, the Home Alone film came out, I remember I got a call from him. He invited me and my family up to his ranch to meet him, because me and him have led similar childhoods in certain forms.
Mr. President-elect, Mrs. Clinton.
And I think we understand each other in a way that most people can't understand, either of us.
Are you friends today?
Yeah, we're good friends. We still talk all the time. I'm his children's godfather. His kids are so beautiful. I love them so much. They're so great.
But his own childhood continued to be anything but great. He was finally able to stop making movies at 14 when his parents separated and his father could no longer control his career. But he couldn't, as he'd hoped, disappear. A bitter custody battle between his parents kept him in the headlines.
Oh, I have any comments?
His mother claimed his father was physically and emotionally abusive, charges his father vigorously denied.
We all always knew that we were going to end up with my mother, that there was no way that if any judge saw the evidence against my father, that he would get custody. And so I wasn't sweating it so much. It was just the way that the press was treating it.
I remember those headlines. Your mother said your father was drunk and abusive. He was, yeah.
Yeah, no, definitely.
At one point, you called the police about your father.
Yeah. I went off somewhere for the weekend, and I didn't tell him. And he got he got angry with me, and gave me a nice swipe across the cheek, and I just went down. And then he told me to get up. And I said, and I looked at him, I was like, I'm not gonna fight you, because I knew that's what he wanted me to do. He gave me another one. And my brother had walked into the apartment or something like that, and I just said, you know, F you, I'm gonna, and I closed my door, locked it, called the cops on him. That I just wanted him to know that I wasn't going to let him get away with those kind of things anymore.
During this custody battle, you found out from a television news report that your mother and father had never married.
Yeah.
How'd you feel about that?
I felt that, someone should have told me.
Your father eventually decided not to fight the custody battle. Yeah, and one day he just...
He up and left.
Just disappeared?
Yeah.
No note, no goodbye, no explanation?
That's exactly what he did. Actually the day of the trial. And he just didn't show up, and that was it. It was over.
Have you heard from him in 6 years? Birthdays, Christmas?
No, not at all. And it's very funny, because he sent me a telegram on opening night out here.
What did it say?
All the luck on a long and successful run. You will, as always, be wonderful, Dad, it said. And I thought it was very funny that it's been about 4 years, and not that I want him to make contact, I actually really don't, but he made contact with me just because I'm doing something, because I'm getting back to work. And that says a lot about a person.
Do you want to see your father again?
I don't think I would. I don't think he's willing to say some of the things he should say.
At 17, headlines again.
Hey, Macaulay.
You got married.
Yes, I did.
To another 17-year-old, a very fine actress named Rachel Miner.
Yes.
And people said, 17?
Listen, we were in love. We went to school together at the professional children's school. And no, I'd been in love with her for years. And this is how he conveyed it. We got married. And, we still love each other. And it's just a very weird situation right now.
Why?
We were getting to a point where whether or not we liked each other. and love and like are two very different things. And I think we both need to take a step back. We're just figuring out where we are right now.
The rumors were that you were your reclusive self.
Yeah, no. I had to learn how to talk and how to communicate, and I should have done it more.
Right now, Culkin is separated from his wife. He said that he's fighting the urge to stay inside, even though he still feels uncomfortable dealing with fans.
You signed to David on that one, if you don't mind.
Although he is now 20, to many, he will always be that little boy in the movies. When you walk down the streets now in London, you're recognized. People stop you.
Yeah, no, it happens. There you go.
Thank you. Do you like it now?
I've accepted it now.
You accept it.
But, you know, I'm not sure if I necessarily like it.
Do you date?
No, I'm not really dating. I'm not in any rush.
Did you know many women, young girls? Did you date very much before you married Rachel?
Not really. I only dated one other woman before.
So you're relatively inexperienced, as they say.
I guess you can put it that way, you know.
If you have children, would you let them go into show business at an early age?
Ooh, well, if I did, it would be very, very different than what it was. But I think I'd probably keep them away from it.
Tell me why you were not a total mess. I mean, given the background, you know what I'm saying? Given the background, given the childhood, given the career, why aren't you just the most mixed up, neurotic young man? Or maybe you are, and I just haven't seen
Yeah, no,
it.
exactly. Maybe I have a good front or something. I don't know. I can't say. I just know that I really needed this time off. I really needed to take my time, take a deep breath, take a step back, kind of realize everything that happened. I'm trying to be the best person I can be. And that's what I've realized. How, in the scheme of things, in the scheme of life, you know, in the very, very end, you're not a press statement, you're not a film, you are not your career. I have my family, I have my friends, I have basically everything I need in life right now.
You're not home alone.
No, I'm not home alone.
By the way, Macaulay's father, Kit Culkin, declined to comment for our story. It's clearly a sad situation for both sides. Well, when we come back, it's not how you play the game, it's whether you win or lose. You heard me. We'll explain next.
A photo finish, sudden death. America will go to any lengths to name a winner, whether it's on the field of dreams or in the political arena.
This was a nothing soccer game between two nothing candidates, and now all the excitement will be crammed into the last 15 minutes.
Smile, because now there's a reason to love the end of the weekend. Every Sunday, a cheeseburger is just 69 cents at McDonald's. It's just our way of putting a little sun back into Sunday.
Science Diet offers complete nutrition for your cat. ProPlan offers complete nutrition for your cat. Science Diet has a taste cats love. ProPlan has a taste cats love. The first ingredient in Science Diet Feline Maintenance Original is poultry byproduct meal. The first ingredient in ProPlan Chicken and Rice Maintenance is real chicken.
I told you so.
Shut up, Mittens. ProPlan. It's your cat, it's your choice.
The word is out on Mazda MPV. And the final word on Mazda MPV?
Zum-zum.
This recipe's been in my family for centuries.
Yes, we know.
Ever try to fill a regular plastic bag? Not too easy, huh?
Messy.
Yuck! Now there's a better way. The new Easy Fill bag from Ziploc. The one and only bag that stands up, stays open, and closes Ziploc tight. The new Ziploc Easy Fill bag. SC Johnson, a family company.
Want a sure way to get great reactions this holiday? Fast forward to the gifts of Christmas future at Future Shop and turn on the fun. Save $350 on this 667 megahertz HP computer package, just $11.99 after rebate, in-store and online. Plus, get an additional $100 off with internet sign-up. All the things they want, and some things they've only dreamed about. Future Shop. You'll like what the future has in store and online.
Fresh from the kettle and new from Quaker Instant Oatmeal. The taste of baked apple pie. The rich flavor of golden honey. The warm taste of cinnamon roll. 3 delicious new flavors, all with the goodness of Quaker Instant Oatmeal. All fresh from the kettle.
Man, gasoline, Ted. Get it out of a hose.
We're doomed. I think Aunt Judy would understand.
It's been Canada's taste in chocolates for over 70 years.
We all know where the rainbow goes.
Brighten someone's day with Pot of Gold.
There's the Pot of Gold.
Chocolate?
I have found a truly gentle hair color. New Casting Color Spa by L'Oreal. It's the gentle, no ammonia color with an essential oil to protect my hair. So it feels healthier than before I colored. New Casting Color Spa by L'Oreal, because I'm worth it.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I'm Wally Safer.
60 Minutes on TV Sunday at 7.
2020 continues. Once again, Barbara Walters.
If your patience is wearing thin with the election standoff, you're not alone. In a new ABC News poll, most people, 57%, said it's time to wrap things up. Well, that's not so easy, judging by the maneuvering still going on. And if you're confused about it all, and who isn't, here in a nutshell is how it went in Florida today.
It is ordered and adjudged that the plaintiff's motion is denied.
This morning, the Gore team was dealt a potentially fatal blow. Gore's lawyers had filed suit against the Secretary of State when she announced she would not accept the hand counts still underway in 3 heavily Democratic counties. Today, the judge backed her up.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have just spoken with Governor Bush and Secretary Cheney. They are understandably pleased with Judge Lewis's opinion.
The Gore team responded quickly, announcing they would appeal.
And I think it would be premature from a legal standpoint to say this issue has been resolved based on the decision of a trial court before the Supreme Court has had an opportunity to decide this issue.
Perhaps, but for the Bush campaign, the trial judge's ruling meant they were now less than 24 hours away from claiming the presidency.
We now look forward to the prompt counting and reporting of the limited number of uncounted overseas absentee ballots so that the process of achieving a final result to the election in Florida is not subject to further delays.
With a Bush victory seeming possible as early as tomorrow, the Gore campaign said not so fast, and they issued a not-so-subtle warning to Florida's Secretary of State.
Wouldn't it be unfortunate if this matter were concluded by her action tomorrow and then the Supreme Court of Florida were to reach a different conclusion at some time in the future?
Then, in a move that surprised even the Gore team, the state Supreme Court agreed that announcing a winner in Florida should wait until the court could rule on the appeal.
I want to be clear. Neither Governor Bush, nor the Florida Secretary of State, nor I will be the arbiter of this election. This election is a matter that must be decided by the will of the people, as expressed under the rule of law.
The counting of those long-anticipated overseas ballots started tonight and will continue tomorrow. At the moment, George W. Bush is leading in that count. Sooner or later, and we hope it's sooner, we will have a winner. And that's a good thing, because as Lynn Shure discovered, especially in America, winning is everything.
Go! Consider for a moment that this electoral tug-of-war is more elementary than ballots or butterflies or chads or even policies. Instead, Think of the unimaginable closeness of this race purely in terms of statistics.
The 6 million votes cast in Florida, evenly divided between Gore and Bush, are indistinguishable from the results that one would expect if one flipped a coin 6 million times.
In other words, the voters did no better than a coin toss?
Did no better, did no worse.
Math professor John Allen Polos, who wrote the best-selling In Numeracy, spends his life translating complex numbers into everyday English, like the relatively teeny several hundred votes out of nearly 6 million cast separating the candidates. Is this race a statistical tie?
Yes, it is. It is, and it's not clear what to do with the tie.
Some ties seem tolerable. Regular season hockey or soccer games, cricket matches. Chess can end in a draw. And when officials at the Olympics changed the rules after deciding that thousandths of a second were too minuscule to measure, 2 swimmers actually tied at hundredths of a second in Sydney this year. The ancient Greeks had a word for it. A tie was a hira nike, a sacred victory, and the prize went to the gods. Maybe that's who New York Mayor Rudy Giuliani was trying to please when he offered both teams a parade after the Subway World Series. The problem is, we Americans don't much like ties.
There's a long tag on Kennedy, I believe. The Giants won the pennant! The Giants won the pennant!
In everything from sports to wars to TV ratings, we demand a winner. Someone or something on top, even if it's just by a nose or by a decision. Why is winning so important?
If winning wasn't so important, God would not have invented testosterone.
Sports writer Mike Lupica, whose latest novel, Bump and Run, is about a football coach's fixation on winning, says moral victories just don't cut it. Ditto the high-minded ideals of one of his predecessors, Grantland Rice, who famously wrote that what matters is not that you won or lost, but how you played the game.
You know, that sounds great, and it was a good theory for the 30s. I'm not sure that Granny could get a job on a New York tabloid these days. You know, this whole thing that it doesn't matter who wins, this is as dopey an idea as Mayor Giuliani saying that the Mets and the Yankees should all have the same victory parade. You know, like, can't we all get along?
Lupica told me that when a game is tied, everyone goes home unhappy.
Hockey used to have ties, and that's it. Everybody went home, and you know, they said a tie was like kissing your sister. Actually, in politics now, it's like kissing Warren Christopher. But it's the same basic premise. Now they put only 4 guys on the ice to try to encourage scoring. I mean, it's the same thing in football. It used to be football. If the game ended in a tie, the game was over. Now they play a whole nother sudden death period. I mean, we must have a winner.
Because,
first of all, this thing only became interesting in sudden death. I mean, nothing ever happened until, 10 days ago when we didn't have a winner.
When you're in the middle of a long game like that and you're watching it, do you keep thinking someone's going to do it? One guy's going to hit the home run. That's the change. That's the big moment that we're waiting for.
That's the beauty of sports, that you know that eventually somebody is going to do something that they'll be remembered for the rest of their careers. That somebody will have one great shining moment. And if somebody has a great shining moment in this election process, it'll be the very first in 2 years.
So where does it all begin? Are we born demanding champions? Just ask Mrs. O'Flynn's first grade class at Thomas Jefferson Elementary in Northvale, New Jersey.
Can 2 people be president?
No.
It would be too confusing to have 2 presidents, so what do we do?
He could play longer.
Eventually somebody's going to what?
Win.
And someone else will?
Lose.
A tie feels like a loss in American culture. It feels like somebody didn't try hard enough.
Psychologist Ellen McGrath says it's a national obsession.
And that is the essence of the American way. You have to go till you die as long as you can win. Losing is absolutely unacceptable for us, and we'll do anything to avoid it. I think every parent tells our kids it's how you play the game, and every parent believes it's only about winning.
It's in there, 2.
Nothing. Come on, that's in there, Richie.
No.
Oh! Yeah!
As for that old line, close only counts for horseshoes and hand grenades, neither of the principals in the current match seems likely to settle for either a tie or a loss. These are competitive men, born and bred in the era of football coach Vince Lombardi's winning isn't everything, it's the only thing. So how to decide which one wins this photo finish? In New Mexico, they sometimes decide local ties with, believe it or not, a deck of cards. The kids we met had their own ideas about how to settle this race.
Whoever eats the most grapes wins. They could sing a kind of music song, and whoever has the most beautifulest music wins. They can say what the weather will be tomorrow without watching the news. Whoever can break a broomstick with their head first wins. They could hold their breath. Whoever holds their breath longer is the winner.
Mike Lupica has a less hazardous solution.
There was a famous NHL playoff game a few years ago. It ended at like 3 o'clock in the morning. But again, when it did, the puck was in the net. It wasn't in dispute. The red light went on, and that's what we're just waiting for. Please, please, God, let the red light go on.
Lynn, what if there is a tie?
Well, Barbara, there actually are rules for all of these things. Now, in case Florida can't get its act together, December 18th, Electoral College, they could throw Florida out and have the vote without Florida.
Really?
Yes. Unlikely, but this entire election has been unlikely. Okay, now, Electoral College. In the, again, unlikely case that an elector changes his or her mind and elect you, and there's a tie of electors, then it goes to the House of Representatives.
And then?
And then, if the House of Representatives, also very unlikely, goes into a tie, then it goes to the Speaker of the House, who would become president. And then, after the Speaker of the House, the President pro tem of the Senate. There are rules for all these things, and we've never gone down this path before, but who knows? It's all out there.
I think the kids are right. Let them eat grapes.
Out of the mouths of babes, right?
Amazing, but possible.
Oh.
Thank you, Lynn. Well, if you want to keep up with the very latest on the election, whatever that is, log on to abcnews.com. And when we come back, an idea that John Stossel says is rotten to the core. In this week's commentary, Give Me a Break.
You should be so lucky. Apple growers made a mistake and lost money. Now the government's using your money to save their skins. How do you like those apples?
Most of your growers don't like getting the money. While philosophically they're opposed, there aren't many who will be sending that check back.
Go to Canada's leading source for health information on the internet. Go to medbroadcast.com.
Good morning, Mitzi. You be good. Mitzi, bad dog.
Better beans, better coffee. Nabob. Remember when Jean Chrétien promised to eliminate the GST? Once elected, he didn't. Now he's promising to cut your income taxes. How can you believe him now when he broke his promise then? Stockwell Day has a fair tax plan that will cut income taxes by over 30% for families with children. When Stockwell Day had the chance to cut taxes in Alberta, he didn't just talk about it, he actually did it. For real tax relief, the choice is clear. On November 27th, vote for the Canadian Alliance.
Tom, why don't you take some time off?
Ed, I'm about to break the biggest story in this paper's history.
You don't have a story.
What are you talking about? I got medical evidence, fingerprints. I can prove everyone in this country's unique.
So?
So they deserve their own cell phone plans.
You're on vacation, pal. Starting now.
Who got to you, Ed? Who got to you?
Introducing your plan from Rogers AT&T Wireless, featuring 2 months unlimited local calling. Imagine.
Christmas shopping is so easy.
Hi. Hi.
When you know exactly what they want.
I need this and whatever's been cut out here.
With thousands of unique gifts at great prices, Sears is the place to shop this Christmas. Sears, everything you could wish for.
McDonald's Bacon Double Cheeseburger.
2 all-beef patties topped with processed cheese and 3 strips of bacon. Available for a limited time, it's a whole new taste to make you smile.
I have found a truly gentle hair color. New Casting Color Spa by L'Oreal. It's the gentle, no ammonia color with an essential oil to protect my hair. So it feels healthier than before I colored. New Casting Color Spa by L'Oreal, because I'm worth it.
Where do you find inspiration? Sometimes where you least expect it. With technology that takes you beyond old boundaries to something more inspiring. Like the compact ProLiant server. With a 1.75-inch profile that fits everywhere, you can have your next big idea anywhere. Welcome to the new IT, inspiration technology from Compaq.
How great would this be? You make a bad business move, you lose lots of money. But waiting in the wings is a wealthy uncle who saves you with a big fat check. Sounds like a happy ending until you hear John Stossel's commentary, "Give me a break."
It does sound happy, Barbara, until you discover that the uncle is Uncle Sam and the money he's giving away is yours.
The apple business has had a tough year. Sales are flat. Some growers say it's because the popular Red Delicious apples just don't taste good anymore. It's our own fault, says Washington State grower Doyle Fleming. We spent years crossbreeding these apples to make them look bright red, because that's what we thought customers wanted.
And so they just kept getting redder, but there wasn't any consideration on whether it tasted better.
Apparently it didn't. In breeding for color, they neglected taste. They're pulpy, says Chef Julia Child. They don't have the crispness and flavor they should have. That, coupled with tough competition from growers overseas, hurt the apple business badly. So what happened? Well, Congress and the president, eager for agricultural votes, grabbed some of your money to give it to the growers.
This legislation will fund much-needed help to our farmers, our ranchers, our rural communities.
Apple growers have mixed feelings about this because they had prided themselves on not taking government handouts. Craig Naz heads their trade association.
You used to say, we don't want to take money from the taxpayers. The dairy industry gets that, the sugar industry gets all these checks, but we're independent. It isn't much money, and it won't correct all of the economic problems, or probably any of the economic problems confronting our industry.
What it will do is give growers $138 million to artificially keep them in business. Some growers are using your money to bulldoze their apple orchards down. Bulldoze them and burn them up. Surprisingly, many of the growers don't approve of the bailout. Bruce Grimm says it's unfair for the politicians to give him your money.
The consumer paid a fair price. Why should the consumer taxpayer have to pay again in the form of a bailout?
Good question. Lower prices in other businesses is considered a good thing. Is it a problem that computer prices are falling? That cell phone rates are falling? No, it's good for customers. It may not be great for the phone companies, but that's all right.
This store in my neighborhood went out of business. Should the taxpayers bail them out? Half of all new businesses fail. We don't bail them out. And that's okay, because allowing some people to fail is what lets new ideas flourish. It's the creative destruction that keeps an economy healthy.
While a bailout will help some growers now, Doyle Fleming says it'll make their problems worse in the future because it perpetuates the overproduction that made them lose money in the first place. Not that Fleming will turn his check down.
I'll be in line with the rest of them.
Why should we subsidize you? Do we subsidize the dry cleaner when they lose money, or the restaurants? Lots of restaurants lose money. Congress has provided $29 billion to the wheat grower and the hog rancher. Apple growers said, hey, my times are tough too. So you just weren't getting your cut of the welfare check. Philosophically, most growers remain opposed. Most of your growers don't like getting the money. Exactly. But while philosophically they're opposed, there aren't many who will be sending that check back.
No, I bet they won't. Why would they say no with the politicians so eager to give them your money? Give me a break.
Could I ask the Pennsylvania delegation?
John, as you say, why should they give the money back?
Well, I guess you can't blame them, but lots of farmers don't take these handouts. The tomato growers, strawberries, lettuce, lots of farmers are independent entrepreneurs not asking for your money, and 3 cheers for them.
I guess so, but another question. What about those tasteless red apples? Are they going to change?
Well, they say they're working on it, but they also say we think they taste pretty good and the customer wants it red. But they're selling more Fujis and Granny Smiths, and they taste better.
Well, there's always applesauce. And if you have some juicy comments that you would like to share, log on to abcnews.com.
Closed captioning brought to you by Jameson Echinacea. As soon as you feel a sore throat or the first sign of a cold or flu this season, Jameson, recommended by those you trust.
This Christmas, Santa's elves have a little more time on their hands. Thanks to the affordable gifts found at Shoppers Drug Mart. Get a free silver-plated jewel box when you spend $30 on cosmetic products.
10% recreation industry research emphasis right now. The U.S. market percent.
Hey, buddy.
4%.
They throw you out of the office?
2% is invested in recreation industry in Canada. 12% is outside of North America. The increase accounts for 4%, 1.10%, 32% entertainment and media companies.
Altamira, focused on making you money. Maybe a little too focused.
Park's closed, or do I need to put it on a pie chart for you?
Coming up next Friday on 2020, look at these faces, the powerful and the pitiful, preserved forever by a mysterious ritual, mummification. Now watch as modern science copies the ancient Egyptian formula.
Here it is.
Here it is.
First time in over 2,000 years.
Tom Jarrell with fascinating secrets from the grave. Next Friday at 10, 9 Central Time. And that's our program for tonight. We thank you for joining us. Remember, we're in touch, so you be in touch. I'm Barbara Walters, and I'll see you next week here and on The View. And for all of us here at 2020, let me be the first to wish you and your family a very happy Thanksgiving. Good night.